Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bulldog Report. Well, we had some tech issues getting things started, but we are here just in time, a bit of a miracle, but we're ready to go. It's opening day as the Metuchen Bulldogs face off with the Arthur L. Johnson Crusaders, a big central matchup. I'm Eddie Kalegi here alongside Ike Bush. Ike, we've got a big-time game going on today, and opening day, Metuchen looking to end a 13-game losing streak.
That's right, Eddie. We haven't seen Metuchen win since 2019 against Dunellen on a long losing streak. Haven't won at home, in fact, since playing Highland Park on the 14th of September in 2019. But the Bulldogs look to snap this losing streak at home here against Johnson.
Yeah, and for Metuchen, they did put up 20 points against Keyport, and a big reason why was their quarterback, Stephen Metuchen.
That's right. With 14 pass attempts, he completed 7 of them. And the biggest part of his game in the last one against Keyport was his rushing ability. And he totally was incredible rushing for 17 attempts with a rushing touchdown and a lot of yards. Metuchen looked very good in the start last time against Keyport. He hopes to continue that here against Johnson on the first game at home here in Metuchen.
Well, first game in almost a year at home, but with the crowds limited last year, it's the first real feel of a football Saturday here in Metuchen since 2019. The Bulldogs defer. They'll be kicking off here in their blue uniforms. Arthur L. Johnson High School 0-1. They'll be going right to left in their white uniforms. We both commented they look like the Penn State Nittany Lions out there. As the kickoff is coming, we're ready to go. Football in the Brady Borough. The hand is up, the run, the kick, and we are underway on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon. Short kick taken about the 35, pushing forwards. It's a scrum towards the 43-yard line where the tackle is made. Solid return there for the Crusaders. And Arthur L. Johnson High School, coached by Anthony Del Conte, will get things started here on offense.
Patrick Miller with the kick just went a few yards, but the return was even better after trucking a few defenders and powering his way up near the 45-yard line.
So the offense here led out for Arthur L. Johnson. Their quarterback is Jason Hernandez, a senior who last game went 3 for 8 with 47 yards, passing the ball, 9 carries for 36 yards. But for Arthur L. Johnson, they're still looking to score a point this season. They were shut out 36-0 against Brearley. They also have a new quarterback this year in Hernandez, as Joseph Greenbush, their quarterback from the past 3 seasons, is no longer on the team. Of course, he graduated in the class of 2021. But Jason Hernandez is under center, 2 receivers out wide on each side. It'll be first down, 10 yards to go. Handoff up the middle, and they're going to get down near the first down marker to about the 45 of Metuchen. Great handoff there as Johnson gets going.
That's right, a really nice handoff almost towards the first down as they get 9 yards in the first play of this game.
So it'll be second down and 1 here at the Metuchen 46. The Bulldogs have to lock down on defense. This is a team that allowed 37 points to Keyport, not one of the top offenses by any standards in the Big Central. But Arthur L. Johnson, a team who has not scored a touchdown yet this season. Metuchen just needs to try to shut them down. They have the offensive explosiveness, as here a quarterback keeper as Hernandez takes it himself and pushes the pile forwards for about 4 yards. Ike, a great job there for him to keep going, even though after the initial hit to get the first down.
Absolutely, and an awesome job blocking by the O-lineman to push him forward for that extra 1 or 2 yards. A really nice job, and keep in mind Jason Hernandez's running ability. He also plays running back and D-back, so he has some experience on the ground as well. So keep in mind number 2 in the backfield. He might do some splash in that backfield running.
So it's a first down for the Crusaders. They got the ball at the 43-yard line here. Just over a minute gone here between the Dogs and the Crusaders. Hernandez hands it off up the middle. Metuchen figured that one out, and he'll spin forwards for about 3 yards. So nothing much going right there, and it'll be second down and 7 coming up from the 40-yard line. So for Arthur L. Johnson last season, they only played 4 games. They went 1-3. They finished last in the 2B division in the Big Central, which was won by Bernards, and all 3 of their losses were by more than 20 points. So clearly this team needs to make some changes to avoid falling into big holes early in games.
That's right. Two teams starting to struggle a little bit in the football season. End of last year, both teams did not end great, but looking for their first wins each in the season.
Second down at 7. Handoff here up the middle. Again, the Crusaders push the pile near the first down marker. Think it was a little short. We'll see. Just past the 35-yard line.
I think they're going to mark them just a bit short, and that will set up third down and 1 from the 40, or sorry, that looks like the 34-yard line.
Yep, looking like that. And for Metuchen, they need to get that front 7 on defense to be prepared for the running game, because clearly Arthur L. Johnson is not a school that's going to pass the ball very much. Only 8 pass attempts in the game against Brearley, and they have a lot of strong backs. They have a lot of size back there that they're going to try to utilize. And again, they'll run it on third down, and it's another first down near the 30-yard line, a keeper for Hernandez.
So obviously, Jason Hernandez last game, 3 for 8, only completing for 3 targets out of his 8 attempts at 47 yards. But more notably, 9 rushes for 36 yards. So obviously, their power is with the run game, and we're seeing that open in the opening stages here, as they've almost only run so far this game.
So slowly but surely, Arthur L. Johnson working it down the field. 8 minutes, 42 seconds left here in the first quarter. These teams last met in 2018. Johnson took that one 27-7. None of the main players from that game are still with their respective high schools now. This one is a handoff. It's Hernandez getting free, spinning down past the 20-yard line. Ball came out, but it looks like it's going to stay with Arthur L. Johnson. That was actually Braden Downey on the carry. Downey, a junior, also had a reception for 20 yards in the game against Brearley. And Ike, one of the strong points of this team is that they have so many rushers that they can go to.
That's right, so many weapons, and they have a great O-line so far we're seeing so far today. And with a rushing mobile QB, it certainly sets up a lot more opportunity to get the yardage you need to push down the field.
So first down and 10 for the Crusaders, ball at the 19. This one is going to be a handoff going left side. Looked like that was Jake Malcolm, who's going to get down to about the 15.
Ball carried by Jake Malcolm. Jurassic's playing high again. Gotta get lower.
Second down coming up, and 6 from the 15. 7 minutes, 39 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Metuchen with their first home game of 4 on the slate this season. Of course, they're very excited for the night game here on October 2nd. First time under the lights here in the Brady Borough, and we're all excited to see several fall sports teams getting to enjoy that throughout that week. Here's another carry, and forcing it up the middle down to the 7-yard line for another Crusader first down.
Well, to be honest, this defense has been looking weak so far. We've seen some third down opportunities from the offense, but they're converting on almost every single play and pushing forward. And it's all through the run, so the defense has to shape up when it comes to the run. The Crusaders are looking very strong in the opening stages.
Trying to punch it in. Hernandez hands it off, but nothing is going there. And there might be an injured Crusader there on the run. And the fullback is down, and the training staff will come out here at the 6:33 mark. And I mean, that's the danger you get with all of these collisions. Of course, these short runs running it right down the middle. Metuchen is a little different with their offense from what I saw against Keyport. They do have a lot of carries, and they do rely on the run game. Stephen Mialishin had 17 rushes as the quarterback, but it was a lot of end-arounds, motion, not just barreling it right up the middle. Arthur L. Johnson trying to use their size as an asset, but unfortunately they have an injured player here with 6:33 remaining in the quarter with the ball at the 8-yard line. He'll jog off, so looks to be okay, which is a good sign, and he'll head off the field. and heads back towards the huddle. So hopefully he's all right, but the Crusaders will make it back out onto the field here with 6:33 left in the first quarter. Now the big difference for this team is, for Arthur L. Johnson, is that they lost their two biggest assets on offense. Joseph Greenbush, their quarterback, and Billy Sass, their receiver, both graduated. They were their leading receiver and leading passer and rusher, respectively. So this offense, Ike, has gotten under some major changes, but they have some key players now that are performing well.
That's right, and now they have their QB, the senior, that's rushed already for a whole ton of yards. And he also plays running back, D-back, as I mentioned just earlier, but he has some serious ability on the ground.
There goes Hernandez, looks for an option, jukes him out, and he'll be swallowed up right there by Aiden Holloway. Good read by Metuchen as Jason Hernandez tried to channel his inner Lamar Jackson there with a little option moves, but didn't pan out. And third down's going to be coming. Go ahead.
They've had their success on third down so far this drive, running it almost every single play. We'll see what they'll do here in the red zone, as it's a big opportunity on 3rd and goal from the 7.
Metuchen trying to shift the momentum and stop this drive. The handoff, taking it up the middle, not much, but a flag is down. Was handed off to Vincent Pisano, the backup fullback. And the penalty is going to be against the Crusaders, and this will push them a little further back. The injured player was Sean Simoes, the starting fullback. He's back into the game now for the Crusaders, as that last carry was by Pisano prior to the flag. So third down, now back at the 12-yard line. Coach Anthony Del Conte, a former Arthur L. Johnson football player, gives the directions from the sideline. Hernandez under center. He's got two receivers out wide, Dylan Parado and Stephen Ciccatelli. Throw deep and way out of play, intended there for Stephen Ciccatelli, and that will be a fourth down coming up.
And perhaps that's why we've seen them run a whole ton this first drive. The incredible rushing ability, but not so great so far passing ability by the QB. Now we saw his first pass attempt fly way out of bounds. They'll set up the fourth down field goal attempt.
So fourth down, and they'll be trying to kick it here. That's Brett Makowski, the kicker. Often we see some struggles on these kicks in high school football, especially in Central Jersey, but let's see if Makowski has the leg for this one. Metuchen nearly jumps off sides, and we'll see who the call is on. There was some motion on both sides, but it might be against the Dogs. And it is. So the Dogs pick up their first penalty here. And this has been a long drive. If anything, Arthur L. Johnson's taken 7 minutes off the clock.
It's looked really good for them in terms of draining some clock. They've lasted almost the entire first quarter. Because of the defense stepping up all the way up till about third down, Arthur L. Johnson has been able to power their way, especially through the run, and make their way down the field. Almost 15-minute quarter, and they're looking really good on the run. We'll see what they could do here on fourth down.
So here comes the field goal attempt again from Makowski. Metuchen backs off a little bit on their defensive pressure. Don't want to jump off sides again. The snap, the hold, the kick from Makowski is good. Metuchen staves off a potential touchdown and stalls the drive, but Brett Makowski converts the field goal from 17 yards away, and Arthur L. Johnson takes a 3-0 lead.
You know, if I was Metuchen right now, if I'm their coaches, I would be extremely happy and relieved that didn't end up in 6 points. I mean, their defense wasn't coming up when they needed to. They're going to have to step up for the next drive and take the 3 points and smile with it and hope their offense can do a little splash here in the next drive.
Yeah, we shall see, but Ike, we talked about it. Metuchen did score 20 points against Keyport, and they've had some players who have been doing really well on offense through that first game.
That's absolutely right. Now, the best player right now that we've seen so far is the senior, Stephen Mialishin, and he is extremely good both on the run and passing with an absolute cannon of an arm. Last week against a strong defense, completing 7 of 14
throwing 2 picks, but also a touchdown and rushing in for one of the touchdowns as well. So this is a very good offense, as they shown last week against Keyport. We'll see what they can do here in the opening stages with 4:53 to go in the first quarter.
So Makowski gets ready to kick it. Metuchen ready for their first possession of the season, and the ball falls off the tee. And we wait on some more anticipation for this. And the ball comes off the tee again. It's pretty windy out there. Looking at the flag down towards the scoreboard, towards the top right echelon of your screen, like it's blowing out that way, out of the direction, out of the stadium towards the right side goalpost. But you see 2 players now trying to position that ball on the tee, and it looks like they're just going to hold it at this point. So Sebastian Perez will hold it, and they're going to have to set it up again. My goodness. And after 2 minutes of waiting, the kick is up, and Metuchen will let it wave off and go back. Great kick by Makowski, as that's going to go out of play. And out onto the field comes Stephen Mialishin. But another player to look out for in this Metuchen offense, Ike, is A.J. Perillo, their receiver. 20 catches, 258 yards, and a touchdown last season. And he had a good game against Keyport as well.
That's exactly right. A.J. Perillo, a versatile player, also ran one. I guess it was a jet sweep for 15 yards last game. He's looking really good. Definitely got to shut him down with your best corner.
That's what we talked about, the trickery with Metuchen. They might be a bit undersized, especially on that offensive line in comparison to Arthur L. Johnson's defense, and that's going to be more extreme in some of their other games this season. But if they can kind of fool the defense and use some trickery, use some end-arounds, jet sweeps, they'll be very successful. Mialishin under center for the first play on offense at home. It's a handoff that's not going far, as 3 defenders swamp on the play, led by Stephen McCaffrey. And second down's coming up. The carry attempt there for Andrew Antaporta.
Ball carried by Andrew Antaporta. Short gain on the play.
Well, this backfield is extremely versatile. They have a lot of different guys, too, in the backfield, ranging from, 5 guys took runs last game, including their quarterback, but you'll see a lot of different sharing attempts in the backfield. Antaporta, though, the main guy with 8 rushing attempts last time and a touchdown.
So 2nd and 11, back at their own 20. Mialishin back there for the snap. 2 receivers out wide. That's Perillo and Holloway. The throw here is brought in. Nice catch there by A.J. Perillo, careening towards the sidelines near the 30-yard line. Great catch there by A.J. Perillo. The sure hands to bring that in. A little bit overthrown by Mialishin, but Perillo picks up his teammate right there with an excellent catch. Metuchen hurries up to the center. Now they're lined up in the eye. We're going to have 3rd down coming up and 3. Mialishin tries to push the pile forwards. He's still trucking down near the marker right there at the 31-yard line, and we'll see where that one's placed.
And it looks like that will move the chains. A good attempt there by Stephen Mialishin, playing exactly what the opposite team did on them. Johnson rushing the ball with the quarterback a whole lot. That's his first attempt, but Mialishin will get 3 yards and the first down.
First attempt for Mialishin, certainly not the last. Like we said, 17 carries in their last game. Metuchen's top running back from last season was Jake Lipinski, who's graduated, so it's a bit of a backfield by commission this season, and they've kind of changed things up a little bit. But for right now, it's working as they get the first down. Now Mialishin, a fake, a handoff, great move moving forwards to about the 36-37. That's Matthew Sadowski. Great job right there for about 5 yards.
And as you mentioned, the other team seems to be a little bit bigger. The Crusaders look a little bigger on the D-line, so you may have to incorporate some of your trickery plays. And that was a nice little toss and a little sweep by Sadowski, and he gets a few yards. And he gets 4 there for his set up a 2nd and 6 attempt here from the 41.
Second
Sorry,
down,
36.
6 yards to go, and of course from Metuchen, they just want to win. They have lost 13 straight games going back to October 4th, 2019. This might be their best chance yet. Big Central Gridiron projected them to beat Arthur L. Johnson. We'll see what happens. Mia Lishan here gets free, jukes a man, but gets tied up there. Great tackle right there by Brendan Brown, and that will set up a third down. And that's the one challenge, Ike. They try to move out to the sides and try to go a little east-west, but sometimes when the defense is so strong, they can come right up to you no matter what kind of juke moves you're trying to use.
That's exactly right. Going east and west can certainly turn to north and south, and especially south with a team this big. And that was a little attempt by Mialishin, but he gets shut down at the line.
Under 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter, Arthur L. Johnson drove the ball down, got a field goal. Metuchen's defense staved off 6, and now the Dogs face their second third down of this drive. Sadovsky goes in motion, cuts back. Mialishin drops back, pressure comes, leaves it off for Sadovsky. Mialishin gets hammered, Sadovsky down near the first down marker. It's going to be another close play by inches, but a great job on the screen there by Mialishin as he got hammered right there by Nicholas Pingor.
Yeah, seeing the initial pressure, he senses it and dumps it off on the screen pass, and Sadovsky will get the first down. A really nice play and great awareness by Steven.
And once again, Metuchen, by inches, gets their second first down of this drive as they approach midfield. It'll be 1st and 10 coming up from the 43-yard line as we enter the final minute of play here in the first quarter. Antaporta is back there with Mialishin in the shotgun. 2 receivers left. Now Perillo comes in motion. It's that jet sweep that Ike talked about, and Perillo gets free. Perillo's dangerous. Perillo to the 40, to the 30, finally dragged down deep into Arthur L. Johnson territory. You talked about that play, Ike. They use it there, and they gain about 30 yards.
I'll bet you'll see that play a whole lot more. It's worked both times they've used it. And once again, back to the trickery go the Dogs. And it looked really good there as they get all the way out to the opposite side of the field. The Bulldogs continue to press down the field and hopefully try to tie the game or take the lead up.
So it'll be a gain of 28, and that's the versatility we talk about with Perillo. He's a good kick returner. He returned a touchdown last year. The catching, of course, as a receiver, the runs, and also on defense. He had a fumble recovery and 2 tackles for loss in the game against Keyport last weekend. As Metuchen's going to likely just run this clock down in these final 10 seconds. And that is going to do it, I believe, for the first quarter. As Metuchen, with the momentum now, looking to score as we reach the end of the first quarter. 3-0 is your score here between the Crusaders and the Bulldogs. Ike, what have you liked so far that you've seen from this Metuchen team on both offense and defense?
I really like that jet sweep. As you mentioned earlier, that D-line looking scary big against our O-line, but it looked really, really good on that jet sweep, converting twice on it, and a huge play for Perillo to get down the sideline and go to the opposing side of the field.
Yeah, they're using a lot of different play schemes, and they haven't really had to throw the ball yet. Just the one pass attempt to Sadovsky that worked out. And we know Mialishin has a cannon of an arm. He threw for 97 yards and a touchdown against Keyport. He also won Offensive Player of the Week a couple of seasons ago for a performance against Highland Park. So he knows how to throw the ball. He's an experienced quarterback as well. But the interesting thing here is that both these defenses have looked pretty good through the first quarter. When these teams last played their games, Arthur L. Johnson gave up 264 rushing yards, and Metuchen allowed 332 yards of offense. Maybe the offenses aren't as strong today, but these defenses have looked pretty locked in.
That's right. After a long drive earlier by the Crusaders, they ended up getting stopped on a really good conversion on 4th down. It looked like really good for the Bulldogs, and they've been stopping on defense after starting not so great on defense.
Mialishin gets free, down to the 10, to the 5, touchdown Bulldogs! Mialishin with the keeper, and the senior quarterback is in, and the Dogs are on the board on the first play of the second quarter.
Awesome play there. He gets all the way down and gets pushed into the end zone. A perfect fake handoff, and he's on his way. Nothing was going to stop Steven there as he gets in for 6.
And they really had the Crusaders' offense off balance. There is a flag down, though.
Flag on the play. Penalty on Metuchen.
And that's going to be called back. Unfortunate for the Dogs.
Ball is backed up to the 36-yard line.
Not exactly sure what the flag was, but touchdown's coming off the board, unfortunately. But it was still a great play, and it shows how Arthur L. Johnson's defense is really off balance right now, because they were expecting an end around of some sort, not from Metuchen that just busted up the middle, but Metuchen is showing with potential. Unfortunately, they get in the end zone, and it does not count, and now they'll be tasked with a 1st and long.
It must have been a holding call, but you could tell that defense, as you said, is rattled a little bit after performing some trickery by the Dogs. You might not know what to come, and the defense is looking to find any opportunity they can to shut down the Dogs, who are looking really hot on offense.
Yeah, there might have been a grab on that offensive line. Now Metuchen's going to run again. There he goes. Not as far this time, but he's going to get a few yards. 4 yards there on the run there for the senior quarterback. The one thing that works into Metuchen's favor, Ike, he might not be one of the tallest guys out there, but he can fake you out. He's hard to catch. He's evasive, and that's what really is one of his assets.
He is. He's evasive, he's elusive, and he's got a great arm. So he's totally versatile, and it helps the Dogs out on the offensive side of the ball. And we've seen that so far. He has yet to throw an incompletion, and he's running for a whole ton of yards. So I'm really loving what I'm seeing from number 11 so far.
So it will be a 2nd down and 13 coming up here. Ball's going to be at the 33-yard line. 10:18 remaining here in the second quarter. Eddie Kalegi, Ike Bush, Metuchen High School football home opener today against Arthur L. Johnston. It's 3-0 Crusaders at this point. Play action. Perillo takes the screen, but his knee might have been down right when he caught it. And that's what they'll say. Actually, it's going to be incomplete. They're going to say that that ball hit the ground before Perillo could secure it.
Perillo's knee was down on the completion.
So it's going to be 3rd down here, and 13 yards to go. So now Metuchen's going to have to try something here at 3rd and long. Now, they haven't thrown the ball deep yet, and we know Metuchen has the capability to throw the ball deep. Ike, do you think this is the point where you maybe try it on a 3rd and long?
I think so. I think that they also might set up a run so they have an easier 4th down. This might be the time to pull your 4th down play. So you might want to set up another play for 4th and maybe get a little closer on a 3rd and 15 play here.
O'Leary and Larson to the left. As Metuchen looks back, 4 receivers, throws, it's Perillo, can't haul it in, just a little too strong. Perillo had that great one-handed catch earlier on the drive, but doesn't happen this time. And 4th down and 15 is coming up here for Metuchen. So that touchdown being called back because of the hold ends up being crucial on this drive. And now Metuchen will have to try something here on 4th and long, and we'll see what they do.
Yeah, now you'll see them on a 4th and 15. It's a harder play now. I think that it would have been a better idea for them to maybe run and make it set up an easier 4th down. But now they have a little bit more pressure. Nope. We got a shotgun formation as Steven sets back with Antiporta on his side.
And Metuchen is going to punt it, and it hits off the running back. It looks like it touched a Crusader first, so it might be Metuchen ball. Let's see what they even rule this as. Both sidelines are signaling that it's their ball, and now the officials are going to have to come together. Metuchen hesitated to punt, and then ended up hitting it off the rear of Andrew Antiporta. It went off of a Crusader, and it looked like Metuchen fell on it last, and it's going to be Bulldog ball. So how about that?
You got to take what you can get, and they'll get the ball back. That was an extremely lucky play, but they'll get the ball back after catching a huge break. Here's Metuchen from now, the 45.
We've all heard of Mark Sanchez's butt fumble. That was the butt punt, but this time it's not an embarrassment. It helps Metuchen keep the ball. So a great job right there. Not sure exactly how they wanted it, but for right now, So what basically happened here? Metuchen tried to punt it. It went off of Antiporta, but then it went off of the Arthur L. Johnson player. So technically it was a generic punt as if it was just punted down the field, and it was fumbled by Arthur L. Johnson, and Metuchen recovered it. So it's going to be Bulldog ball here. You see a very confused Anthony Del Conte there on the sidelines getting an explanation from the officials, but we've seen a lot of crazy plays here so far in this first quarter and a half, and this time it works out for Metuchen.
It has not failed to entertain so far. An awesome game, only a 3-0 game, but we got some plenty of time here in the second quarter, and Metuchen has shown that they have the potential to splash anything with this trickery offense.
So a timeout is going to be called here by Arthur L. Johnson at the 8:57 mark here in the second quarter. And it's great to be here, of course, back in the booth, of course, personally. I'm not going to Metuchen High School anymore. I'm now at Rutgers University, but back here at the high school getting to call the game. And Ike, this is your first time calling action of Metuchen High School sports. How are you enjoying it so far?
It's awesome. It's so awesome to be able to be here and to call a game like this, the home opener. I'm just super excited for the opportunity, and I can't imagine being able to do this for the next 4 years, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, it's really great, and just great to see the atmosphere, seeing the packed stands again, because last year, Metuchen football did get some games in, but it was so different with the social distancing and just the lack of fans, people not really traveling from the visiting school, but this time it's back. We got a student section alive, and it's a beautiful day for football as well. At kickoff, it was 76 degrees, a few clouds in the sky, but as you can see, it's a picture-perfect day here in the Brainy Borough. So after the chaos with the punt, the fumble, and the recovery by the Dogs, they have it 1st and 10 at the Crusaders 45, 8:57 remaining in the first half.
Interesting formation here from the defense. Only looks like one D-back on the outside as it's dropped by the receiver.
Looked like that was intended for Aiden Holloway, and it went right near Perillo as well. It's just not the greatest pass right there, and almost nearly a deflection, kind of rushed. The one thing that the Crusaders have done today, Ike, when Metuchen has tried to throw the ball, there's been a lot of pressure that's come at him, and he hasn't had much time.
That's right, but he has had the ability to get out of the pocket. He's looked good in that sense, but the problem is the defense looking pretty good so far, and Arthur L. Johnson's defense has been able to shut down most of the Metuchen, but despite the touchdown that ends up getting called back.
So 2nd down and 10 here, ball at the 45-yard line. Mealish in a toss play here on the run, breaking a tackle, pushing forwards towards the sideline to about the 41-yard line. That's John Balesta. Balesta's first carry of the game, and it gets Metuchen a few yards, and it'll set up about a 3rd and 6 or so, 3rd and 5 potentially, 3rd and 6, 41-yard line.
John Balesta, sophomore at the Metuchen High School, has so much ability. As a running back, he also plays D-back, and he has so much ability to make a splash. He's only a sophomore, and he rushed for 9 yards on only 3 attempts last time. Keep your eye out for Balesta.
So 8:10 remaining here in the first half. Metuchen has had the ball since the 4:53 mark in the first quarter. Each team has only had one possession. This Metuchen drive has gone on forever, and they'd really want to cash in here. Handoff is Perillo. Great tackle right there to trip him up. Getting in there for the tackle was Vincent Pisano, who was able to lean in and take out his legs from underneath, and that's going to leave them just short here with 4th down again. Metuchen on the punt was able to convert and keep the ball on the last drive on 4th down. We'll see what they pull here. Much closer scenario as it's 4th down and 2 at the 37-yard line. 3 receivers. It's Ahmed Holloway out there. Mealish keeps it himself. Pressure comes. The ball nearly ripped out, and that's not going to be enough. And a big-time stop by the Crusaders, and a long, nearly 10-minute drive from Metuchen doesn't pan out into anything. That's got to be sort of disheartening, especially when they scored the touchdown that was called back.
Yeah, I think the touchdown kind of got their defense going, putting them into realization that this offense is pretty explosive. So after that, they've looked a lot better. And after the realization that this team could do major stuff on the offensive side of the ball, they've looked a lot better on defense, Arthur L. Johnson has.
For Metuchen, they want to get that win. Like we said, it's been 13 straight losses. All have been by double digits. They've also lost 6 straight home games. They have not won at home since September 14th of 2019 against Highland Park, but they'd love to cash in today against Arthur L. Johnson, who I'd say is a pretty even match for them, and we've seen it so far. But the Crusaders get ready for their second drive. Jason Hernandez under center in that wishbone formation. This one's going to be a quarterback keeper. Hernandez tries to find his way to the sideline, and Stephen Mialishin dismisses him down outside back at the 40-yard line.
Nothing you love to see more than a quarterback bring down another quarterback, and hard. Just at the line, he stuffs him. A really, really nice tackle there by Stephen.
And that's one of the great things that Metuchen has. You might say it's frustrating to not have the full roster to have two-way players. But A.J. Perillo and Stephen Mialishin, 2 of the best on offense. They're also 2 of the best tacklers on this team, and they can be really explosive on both sides of the ball.
Exactly. As he sets up at safety, it looks like Stephen, you really just think of him as a quarterback, but watch out because he's got some scary defensive abilities as well.
This one's going to be a handoff, but it's going to be a takedown in the backfield as the Metuchen defense was prepared again, and that's A.J. Perillo leading the charge inside, and quickly Arthur L. Johnson has a 3rd and long.
Once again, this Dogs defense stepping up to the occasion, and now they're setting up from the 40-yard line, and they've got a long ways to go, and the Dogs, if they can hold them here, they got a nice amount of time here to close out the half, maybe with getting some points, tie the game up, maybe take the lead. We'll see what they could do here on 3rd down.
So 3rd down coming up, ball at the 40-yard line. Halfway through quarter number 2. Here in the home opener from Metuchen. The Bulldogs' next game after this, they'll travel to Roselle on Friday night. As for the Crusaders, they host South River on Friday. So both these teams with some Friday affairs. And a timeout is going to be called by Arthur L. Johnson. Some of the players were confused whether or not there was a timeout, but there is here at the 5:30 mark in the second quarter. But for Metuchen, their defense has been really strong today, and I know Arthur L. Johnson was able to make it down the field, but in the past, we've seen Metuchen over these past couple of years, their defense will become deflated. They'll come so close to a stop, and they'll allow the touchdown. They only allowed a field goal. They only allowed those 3 points. So a touchdown gives them the lead if they can cash in on offense. So this defensive line and, of course, the safeties, and you mentioned Stephen Mialishin and A.J. Perillo bringing pressure as well, doing a great job of neutralizing this Crusader offense.
Exactly. The Dogs are having some success at adjusting to the scheme that the offense is plotting out. Now we'll see the offense running almost all of the time today. And earlier when they were unable to catch up to that scheme, the Crusaders were able to down their way all the way down to the opposite side of the field. But it seems like they're starting to get the scheme of the mobile quarterback and a lot of rushes around the outside, and they're starting to stuff them at the line. It's looking really, really promising for this Metuchen defense.
Now, the one thing I've been surprised by is that Jason Hernandez has not thrown the ball very much in this game. He's only made 1 pass attempt, and Metuchen allowed 171 yards of pass yards against Keyport. But let's see what happens here because Hernandez is under center, but he's got 2 receivers out wide to the right, 1 more to the left. But it's going to be a keeper for Hernandez. He sneaks through, makes 1 miss, but not nearly enough for the first down as the tacklers come in, led by John McGowan, and it'll be 4th down here with the ball slotted at about the 43-yard line.
So they'll swap out and bring out the punting team. It's going to be 4th and 6. They're going to boot it from their own side of the field. Up at the 43.
They will drop to punt. Looks like that's Vincent Pisano. Actually, no, that's Brett Makowski, my bad, who's going to be punting. A.J. Perillo backing up to about the 20-yard line to return. There's the snap. kick is up in the air. Makowski gets it over. Perillo takes it at about the 25. Perillo jukes one, tries to spin away, but a great tackle getting down there. The tackle made by Sean Simoes, and that's where Metuchen will start their second drive of the day.
The hesitation, he tried to juke him out, but after a little bit, it was just too much and but too little space. So they now have 4:27. And they're going to set up from the 28-yard line. Let's see if the offense can continue to prosper from their 28. See if they could drive down the field with just under 4.5 minutes to go in the half.
So 4:27, Metuchen had a couple of big plays on the drive. They had the 28-yard run by A.J. Perillo, and then, of course, the near 28-yard touchdown for Stephen Metuchen, which was called back on the hold. But we'll see what they do here. Ball is right around the 30-yard line. It's going to be at the 27 for first down and 10. Metuchen is back in the shotgun. Matthew Flood is next to him. Perillo comes across. It's going to be an end around. Again, it's Perillo on the jet sweep. Not going too far, but already the third carry of the day for A.J. Perillo. They're really using him as the slot receiver, but also as a runner. They're really trying to get as much as they can and make the most of his speed.
I think they saw the opportunity. It did well, and now they're just going to keep rolling with it. Perillo can do so much on the offensive side of the ball. It's so fun to watch AJ. As he gets a few yards on the jet sweep, we've seen him now on his third carry, all resulting in positive yardage. I'm loving what I'm seeing so far from AJ.
So Metuchen still has their timeouts, so there might be a bit of urgency for this team to try to make something happen at only 3:45 on the clock, and with them working pretty slowly. And are we going to get the first timeout right here? Little confusion here on... Well, the clock was stopped, but now we're going to get back going. So second down coming up, 8 yards to go. Ball right at the 30.
Antiporta in the backfield only had a few carries so far today.
He's going to get one here, and he'll get a few yards as he stumbles to about the 35, and it's going to set up a third and about 3 yards here for the Dogs.
Solid run. He was stopped, and then he kept powering his way, and it resulted in a 5-yard carry for Antiporta. Impressive toughness for him to get 5 yards and force a nicer third down and 2.
Metuchen's done well on third and fourth down so far today, and they'll hope to keep this drive alive at the 2:48 mark here in the second quarter. Metuchen takes it himself, pushes forwards, gets hammered right near the marker, and it's going to be another close one again. Dylan Parado there with the tackle for the Crusaders, but it'll be enough for a Bulldog first down.
Well, you can't blame this Crusaders defense. They do look gassed back there, but really you can't blame them because you're seeing a different thing coming out of that offense. Every single play you'll see a different type of scheme, different formation, and the plays seem to be a little bit similar, but they're all working as he continues to get the first down. Metuchen with a nice run of just about 1 or 2 yards that will set up first down up at the 39.
So 4 receivers here for Metuchen, 2 minutes, 10 seconds remaining in the first half. He's going to roll out left, throws it. That one is going to be caught past midfield. A.J. Perillo with the second reception as he brings it in around the 47-yard line. But there is a flag here on the field yet again on a big play for Metuchen.
And you got to hope this isn't coming back if you're Metuchen. And they're going to call that roughing the passer, so that will get him a whole bunch more yards as Metuchen. You got to love it. And who else but A.J. Perillo to haul that ball in. A little bit high, but Metuchen threw it nice. And Perillo will come down with the ball as they're going to storm all the way down to the 32-yard line.
So they tack the 15 yards on at the end of the play. So Metuchen gets rewarded for that hit that he took, but now the ball is at the 32-yard line, 2 minutes and 2 seconds on the clock, and Metuchen has a real chance to get on the board here. That was a great throw, and A.J. Perillo, Ike, has made a couple of really tremendous catches so far today.
Yes, astonishing. He's been really great
Perillo has, and 4 receptions, 63 yards, and 1 touchdown just last game against Keyport. He's looking to put up similar numbers with more receptions, even more yards maybe. We'll see if he can get himself a touchdown as well. We haven't seen much from Aiden Holloway and Matt Sadovsky. He's had earlier plays. Sadovsky, he had a little bit of that screen play, got the first down earlier, but not much from him. And Aiden Holloway just 1 attempt his way, and he dropped a quick pass earlier.
Yeah, it's you know that you can tell that Perillo is Mialishin's favorite target. He's also the most talented receiver on this team, but we saw him dump the one off also to Matthew Sadovsky, so there is some variation. It's not just trying to throw it deep to Perillo, and I feel like there's some better scheming and sets than last year, because it seemed like they'd either run the ball up the middle or try a deep pass, and like a really deep pass, and there were a lot of times that Mialishin's arm or the receivers just couldn't get to it. But Metuchen has stayed within themselves here on offense and are being rewarded as they look to get on the board. 1st and 10 here at the 32. Fake jet sweep on the run. Metuchen skips over a man and gets about 6 down to the 26-yard line. And again, Stephen Metuchen on the keeper makes something happen.
It's amazing how he's able to hold on to that ball. That's not something a quarterback's always able to do. Running in the open field, it's not always easy, but hauling in 3 defenders and being able to hold on to the ball while he goes down is certainly impressive for number 11, Metuchen.
So a minute 34 seconds remaining here in the first half. Metuchen still has a pair of timeouts, so no need to rush really yet, especially since they're all the way up to the 27-yard line. That's where this one's spotted on 2nd down.
And though they're down just 3, I don't think Metuchen will settle anywhere near for a field goal as they look to have some fight in their eyes looking for the touchdown.
Kicking game has also been a question over the years. Metuchen's going to throw one deep looking for Holloway, just out of the reach. Just led him a little too far to the right corner. That'll be 3rd down. Holloway got past his man, but Metuchen just a little too much oomph on that throw.
He had him burned, and it looked like the safety had him a little bit misjudged, lurking a little bit further back than he should have, and then afterwards, Metuchen threw a little deep ball just down to the behind of the end zone. It was a nice throw, but a little bit too much, as that will set up 2nd down. Sorry, 2nd down.
Now you were right the first time. It'll be 3rd down and 5 at the 1:07 mark here in the first half, so just over a minute. Metuchen had the ball in the first quarter, went on a long drive, which included a called back touchdown and a punt off the rear of Antaporta that ended up allowing Metuchen to keep the ball on 4th and long. Now Metuchen looks to throw, has a completion. Perillo splits the double and makes the catch down near the 20-yard line. That'll be enough for the first down. It should be at least.
Under a minute, once you just like you said earlier, no need to panic. They have their timeouts and a nice first down. They have some solid field position. They have a fight in their eyes. As I said, they really want this touchdown, and they might have to settle for a field goal. But they do have plenty of time with their timeouts. We'll see what Metuchen and the rest of the offense does, as Perillo has been incorporated into the scheme plenty so far.
Clock continues to roll. 35 seconds. Metuchen pumps, throws. Perillo catches the screen, gets free, gets down to the 15-yard line where he's brought down by a pair of Crusaders. And we'll see if the Dogs use their timeout here at the 24-second mark. They won't just yet. Looked like Perillo signaled for the timeout as soon as he had made the catch and was down on the ground. And it's going to be 22 seconds left in the first half. Lots of confusion between the officials and the Metuchen coaching staff, but the timeout is called. There's 22 seconds on the clock, and Metuchen is going to be inside the 20-yard line. So the one thing we've seen them sort of abandon on this drive is the run game, but you can sense the urgency that they want to get this ball down the field, and they feel like passing the ball is the best way to do it.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of carries from Steven earlier on in the game, but though there's less time now, they're looking to pass a lot more, and almost every single play has gone to Perillo, and he's been great. So consistent over there, AJ is, and he's hauled in many passes this drive, and he's gotten most of the first downs, and the Dogs all the way on the opposite side of the field towards the red zone now, and you got to expect another ball towards Perillo, and this defense needs to understand that this ball is going to likely come near Perillo or at least to a wide receiver, and they have to do a better job at shutting down number 5, the stud, A.J. Perillo.
22 seconds. Metuchen trying to score. They do get the ball to start the second half. Metuchen, 2 receivers each side. He takes it himself, but the Crusaders read that right off the snap. Nothing going, and we're down to 17 seconds. And the Bulldogs look to be using their final timeout right here.
I'm a little bit surprised by the call there. I thought they would have done a little short pass, maybe get out of bounds, a quick play so that they could have their timeout if they need it. And now they're forced to use it now, and if they run one more play, they got to hope they get out of bounds, or else they'll end up with no points. So maybe they'll set up a field goal. Maybe they'll just try to get out of bounds and run a quick play, get closer for a field goal, or maybe even a touchdown. But I think that was a little bit foolish. Maybe they expected to catch the defense off expectations.
And this is where you really got to weigh your options here. You've got 16 seconds. They can try to throw one for the end zone. You got to really weigh risk versus reward here. You'd love to score here, especially with the frustration from the first drive. But they do get a do-over at this at the beginning of the third quarter when they get the ball to start the second half. But you think anytime you're in the red zone, you've got to try to capitalize. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. Third down. 4 receivers. Antiporter in the back. Metuchen, play action, rolls right, throws, it's Perillo, it's too long.
That seemed like a smart play for them because it was deep in the end zone, so it was either going to come incomplete or it was going to be a touchdown. So now, worst case, it's 4th down. They'll hit the field goal and try to attempt that 3 points and tie the game up here. But it was a smart plan for Steven to throw into the end zone, so that worst case, it's an incomplete pass, stops the clock, and now they have the field goal attempt.
Now the question is, will they kick the field goal? Because this team has not really been known for their kicking game over the past few years, and Metuchen is coming back out on the field, so I think they are going to go for this on 4th down. Not a huge surprise here, dog strategies over the past few seasons, but this is a huge play coming up now. 11 seconds left in the first half. Metuchen down 3. 4th and 5. Ball at the 15. Antiporta in the backfield. Perillo, Holloway, Larson, and O'Leary the receivers. Metuchen rolls out. Has time. Has space. Is going to try to run it. Gets down. Loses the ball. It's picked up by Arthur L. Johnson. Going back the other way. On the run. To the 40. To the 30. 20. 10, and goodbye, touchdown Crusaders, and that is deflating right at the end of the half. It's fielded right there, picked up by Vincent Paisano. Metuchen tried the keeper on 4th down, and it looks like a touchdown right there, which would put the Crusaders up 9, and in such a low-scoring game, that is brutal for the Dogs right before the end of the half.
I'm not sure if my eyes are deceiving me, but it looked like he might have purposely let go of the ball there. He had his option there. I think it was Antiporta standing right next to him, and I think he might have possibly attempted to let go of the ball, maybe give it to Antiporta for one last run, but obviously it was taken back for the touchdown. I could be wrong, but it looked like it could have been intentional over on the opposite side.
Vincent Pisano with a huge play right there. Metuchen thought about the option. A little bit indecisive there. And now Arthur L. Johnson's calling their final timeout. We'll get some official clarity on this momentarily, but they brought that one back. It was definitely a fumble. Metuchen clearly lost that ball before his knee was down, but for the Crusaders, that is huge for them for their defense, because this is the team that allowed 36 points against Brearley last week, and to be able to, first of all, make the big stop on the opening drive, and now this, it's really a great sign for this defense to start coming around.
It is, and you know it was not an easy offense to shut down. That team cruised down, and such a deflating missed opportunity for Metuchen. And not only was it a missed opportunity, they gave the other team triple their score now. They're hoping to get the extra point here, but the Crusaders have a huge energy boost at the end of the first half here. And it was just so deflating for the Bulldogs as they get the ball back to start off the second half, though.
They will, but it will be a 2-possession game. Hernandez is out there, but it looks like he's going to be the holder, as Makowski will try the extra point, which would make it a 10-0 game, and I believe bring us to halftime. There's the kick. a little to the right, but it's good. And that should bring us to the break. Yes, it does. A huge shift in momentum in favor of the Crusaders right before halftime. And Arthur L. Johnson now holds a 10-0 lead over the Bulldogs entering the break. Ike, that's a tough way to end the half. It's a tough pill to swallow. But how does Metuchen come back out at the beginning of the third quarter, getting the ball and get back on track?
You know, I think it's perfect that they got the ball to start off the second half. They could shift the momentum so easily. You've seen the explosiveness in this offense, and with Metuchen and AJ, you could do so much with that offense. So you just got to settle down and get that touchdown or the field goal and get those points to get you back in a one-possession game, because this game is far from over, and they have the ball to start off and to easily shift the momentum in the second half.
Well, it's been an interesting game so far, and we can't wait to continue to bring you action in the second half. We'll step away. We'll still be on stream. Obviously, with the sound system, you won't actually hear the marching band or the cheerleaders performing, but they will be, and then Ike and I will be back on the mic for the second half. But at the break, the score right now, Arthur L. Johnson 10, Metuchen 0. Eddie Kalegi, Ike Bush will be back here on the Bulldog Report for half number 2. Welcome back to the Bulldog Report. Eddie Kalegi with Ike Bush. Second half coming up between Metuchen and Arthur L. Johnson. The Crusaders have a 10-0 lead. Well, today the Metuchen School District would like to acknowledge this date in American history. Today, the eyes of the world will once again focus on Lower Manhattan, as the nation honors the 20th anniversary of the September 11th terrorist attacks, with solemn remembrances and vows to never forget. The attacks took nearly 3,000 lives and had a profound impact on millions of others. On a clear Tuesday morning at 8:46 a.m., the first plane, American Airlines Flight 11, which had originated from Boston, was piloted into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. The second plane, United Airlines Flight 175, also from Boston, struck the South Tower 17 minutes later. At 9:59 a.m., the World Trade Center's heavily damaged South Tower collapsed, and the North Tower fell 29 minutes later. At 9:45 a.m., as millions watched the events unfolding in New York, American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the west side of the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. The fourth aircraft, United Airlines Flight 93 from Newark, New Jersey, crashed near Shanksville in the Pennsylvania countryside after its passengers, informed of events via cell phone, attempted to overpower their assailants. Our debt to those brave souls of Flight 93 and to New York's police and fire departments, heroic men and valiant women in the service of those trapped in the buildings, can never be repaid. They have earned our undying gratitude. America will never forget their sacrifices. Second half coming up in just a few minutes here between Metuchen and Arthur L. Johnson. Stay with us here on the Bulldog Report. The action will get started in just a couple minutes. Well, we're back. Second half, just a couple of minutes away. Metuchen trailing 10-0 here in their home opener for 2021. Eddie Kalegi here with Ike Bush. Ike, it was an interesting first half, a lot of strange plays, but of course, the biggest surprise came on that fumble right at the end of the second quarter that led to a Crusader touchdown, the only trip to the end zone so far for either team in this game.
Yeah, it's only a 10-0 game, so I've been very satisfied by both teams' defenses, and the offense has not failed at this point either. We've seen plenty of offense out of the Dogs, but not any points yet. They've been coming really close, making it to the red zone twice and getting pushed back both times, one resulting in a fumble for a touchdown. So it's a 10-0 game, but this is far from over here as we enter the first stages of the second half.
Yeah, the Metuchen also getting the ball to start the second half, so there is the chance to cut into this lead. But with the pace this game has gone at, Ike, each team has only had the possession twice, so Metuchen has to make sure they capitalize on this possession coming out of the locker room.
Exactly, because this offense, the Arthur L. Johnson in particular, they were running the ball a lot. So, of course, that drains plenty of clock. They drained almost the entire first quarter, if you remember. So it's going to be an interesting thing to see how they'll do when they get the ball back. Now that they have the lead, maybe they'll control the game even more. Maybe they'll go to the pass to shock the defense. We'll see what they do, but the Bulldogs definitely have to cut into this lead somehow, as they will get the ball to start off the second half.
And the thing is, they've been really productive today on both of their drives. It's just about finishing them out. The one where they had the touchdown called back on the hold, and it kind of stalled out after that. And then, of course, the unfortunate turnover on fourth down, which would have been, I guess, okay if, it was just a turnover and that was the end of the half. But the Crusaders and Vincent Paisano was able to pick it up and bring it back 90 yards for the score. And that's where we sit right now with the Crusaders on top 10-0. And for Metuchen, they just want to break back into that win column. It's been 13 games since their last victory. They've lost them all by double digits. Guy Jensen started his tenure as Bulldog coach at 3-2 for his career, but has dropped his last 15. And for this team that knows that the schedule gets tougher from here, game in Roselle on Friday, then they face off with South River in their next home contest in 2 weeks. You got to make the most of these chances, and they'll try to do that today. So the Bulldogs will get ready to take this one back as Arthur L. Johnson gets ready to make it onto the field. So we talked about the Bulldog offense, Ike. For the Crusaders defense, how do they keep pace? Because they know Metuchen's going to be aggressive coming out of the half.
Going into the locker room, if I'm the coach right now, I got to tell them, watch out for that quarterback and watch out for that wide receiver, starting with Beebs. Stephen Mikulician, he has such a good arm, and you'll see plenty of deep shots by him. In fact, he threw a little overboard in the end zone to Perillo last time, but you got to watch out for Perillo and he's been able to haul in the balls, even the high ones. He was able to haul a bunch of deep balls in earlier, and he's been the biggest X factor for this offense. So you have to watch the trick schemes. You got to watch out for those 2-star players.
So last time we had a kickoff, it took almost 2 minutes because the ball fell off the tee about 4 times. But right now it's stabilized as Brett Makowski will kick to begin the second half. And it's up and away. And they'll just let that one go into the back of the end zone. And Metuchen will start their first drive of the second half. Well, be sure to check out the Metuchen High School podcast. It's coming back for its 5th year later in September. Itai Geller, our own Ike Bush, and Marcus Young will be the 3 hosts of the show this year. Their first episode coming in a couple of weeks. It'll include an interview with the new principal here at Metuchen High School, Ed Porowski. So you want to check that out, go to MHS Podcast on YouTube. Of course, the podcast works in conjunction with the Metuchen High School Media Club to put together the Bulldog Report. If you're interested in joining the Media Club to learn more about the behind-the-scenes and technical side of media, you can talk to their club president, Ben Salaski, who's helping us with today's broadcast with the technical side, and we thank him for that. But Metuchen starts off this drive at their own 20-yard line as we begin the second half. Mikulician takes the snap, throws left, and it's left short. They're going to think that's a fumble, but that can't be a fumble. He did not have control right there. That was John Balesta. Incomplete. Balesta tried to grab it seemed like with the tips of his fingers, and just couldn't get it under control. But he did not have possession whatsoever there. He did not take 2 steps. He may have taken 1 with it sort of in his hands, but should just be ruled an incompletion.
Looking like a lot of excessive argument from the sideline, but there's no flag on the field. It's going to set up 2nd down and 10 from the 20-yard line.
Anthony Del Conte came way out onto the field to voice his frustrations and had to be held back by an assistant coach. No flag there. And now the Metuchen sideline is up in arms. So there is lots of confusion right now. Metuchen is being marched back. So, after all that of a dropped pass that Arthur L. Johnson thought was a fumble, and then some anger on the Arthur L. Johnson sideline where Anthony Del Conte had to get held back by his assistant coaches, ends up resulting in 2nd and 20, so a loss of down and a loss of 10 yards. So matters go from bad to worse here 12 seconds into the half for the Bulldogs as they're mired back at their own 10. Metuchen keeps it himself, fools the defense, tries to get around the edge, but he'll get taken down by Sean Simios.
That was a really good bundle tackle. He just brought him down. Not an easy thing to do as he had his stiff arm out, but he does get brought down just behind the line or just at the line and stuffed. It's going to set up 3rd and 20 from the 10-yard line.
And this drive not going well for Metuchen so far. It's now 3rd and 20, and we'll see if they can pull off some sort of deep ball here. Back at their own 10, also a dangerous area. And the question always when it comes to punting and such is their kicking game. And Metuchen's one punt, whether it was incidental or not, went into the rear of their running back in the second quarter. But the focus right now is on 3rd down. 3rd and 20, Metuchen's going to roll out left, has some time, fires away towards Perillo. It's broken up. That's the quarterback, Jason Hernandez, making a play on the defensive side. And Metuchen is going to end up turning it over on downs here. 4th down coming up back at their own 10.
Yeah, we've went over plenty about how you're going to stop this offense. And they've looked so good, so good out of the gate. This defense, the Johnson defense, they've been able to stop it out with the force of 3 and out. It's going to be 4th and 20, and they're pinned in their own end. So as soon as Johnson recovers this punt, they're going to be deep in the other zone, and that totally gives them an advantage and expands on the momentum that they had going into the second half.
So it's looking like John Ballesta is going to be punting. Jason Hernandez, who seems to do it all for this team, is back to return not very deep. He's standing just shy of the 35-yard line. Ballesta has space to get the punt away. Actually a pretty decent kick, and that's going to drift Hernandez out of bounds at about the 32. So great field position here for Johnson, but at least there on the punt, Metuchen didn't do any further damage. And now Johnson will start in a pretty good spot here, but Ike, a minute into the first half, into the second half, and turning over the ball already behind, not ideal here for the Dogs.
Yeah, and that momentum ending the half, it certainly became something that now is expanding into the next half. You got to think, they're walking in, jumping into the locker room, and Metuchen's kind of sagging and upset. And now they got their team, and it's expanding onto their field because they're looking a lot better than Metuchen so far. Now they have the ball back, and Metuchen has wasted a drive, forced a 3 and out. Now they have to punt, and the ball's already towards the red zone of the Bulldogs.
So ball's going to be here at the 31-yard line for first down. Handoff up the middle, it's Brandon Brown who's going to get about 2 yards.
We've seen that run a lot today, where it looks like a play action. He just hands off on a fake throw, and it goes about for 2 or 3 yards almost every single time. It was a pretty nice run, but it's certainly not going to do the trick, as it's going to be 2nd and 7, excuse me.
So 2nd down coming up, and this is an opportunity for Metuchen's defense to stay strong. If they force a field goal, they do not let them in the end zone. You still keep this at a 2-possession game, and that's crucial. 3 possessions at this point in the game could be very difficult to overcome. 2 possessions is still within reason, and of course the Bulldogs will be seeking a way to try to force a turnover. Despite all the big hits, Johnson has done a good job hanging onto the ball today. Hernandez gets taken down in the backfield. First one in there was Michael Paul Stauffer there for, Rocco Dagon for Metuchen, and that is going to result in a 3rd down.
I want to talk a little bit Dagon there, that play. He shifted through the defenders and brought him down with no hesitation. A beautiful play by Dagon, and the Bulldogs strike back with a nice play. It's going to set down a 3rd and 10.
So 3rd down, 10 yards to go. Hernandez has still only issued up, I believe, 1 pass attempt in this game. They've been sticking with running the ball. A little confusion there on the Johnson offense about what they're going to run here. With 9:14 remaining in the third quarter, Bulldogs trailing by 10. So Hernandez under center. It's Brown in the backfield. One receiver out wide. That is Parado. And that one is up the middle for a few yards, but not close to the first down marker.
Now, I would not be surprised if they go for a field goal here. They have a really, really good kicker. As we've seen, I would not be surprised if they try to tack on 3 here. It's a little bit long to go for it. So they're going to try to maybe kick this through the uprights and expand on their lead.
So 4th down.
Come on back a little bit.
See what they do.
Rocco, toe back, Rocco, back up some.
They're going to try a field goal here. This is a long field goal by high school standards, but Mikowski is an excellent kicker. Puts this one up. Does it have the leg? Yes, what a kick! From the 23-yard line, so that's nearly a 40-yard field goal for a high school kicker, which is not easy by any standards, and Mikowski extends the lead to 13-0.
That was not easy to do, and he didn't just beat the field goal, he beat it by a bit. The uprights got split, and with plenty of feet past it, so he could maybe even go even further. 43-yard field goal, and that was incredible with all the pressure. Knocks on 3 more. It's going to be still a 2-possession game, but a little bit harder for the Dogs to come back now.
So, clarification from the Johnson coaches upstairs. 43 yards on the field goal. Any field goal, 40-plus from a high schooler. I mean, you see college kickers struggle with stuff like that. And even sometimes there's the meme kickers in the NFL that will struggle from a closer distance. But that's still a great job, but Metuchen did do the job and keep it at a 2-possession game, but this is a crucial time to score right here. Mikowski will kick it away. He's been great so far in the kickoffs so far. Both of his previous kickoffs have gone all the way back for a touchback.
Won't be surprised if you see that again here.
And what we did just see again is the ball falling off the tee. The wind doesn't seem to be as strong as it was in the first half, but it's still a factor. But again, they're going to have somebody hold for the kickoff. And again, that is going to be Perez. Mikowski kicks it away, and again, Perillo just puts the arms out and watches that go all the way back near that soccer goal over there. And that's going to set up a 1st down and 10 from the 20, where Metuchen's last drive started, which did not go particularly well. But for the Bulldogs, they had all the momentum, it seemed like, at the beginning of this game, and that's completely shifted since. How do they try to at least get back and, start making some plays? Not necessarily scoring, but just getting down the field and getting some first downs together.
Well, you always just got to chip away. Do what you can. Don't do too much. Don't make those deep balls, that could be picked off and just set up another 2nd down. You want to get the yardage you can. Force the 1st down. Play smart ball. And don't play just chuck down ball. You will see Metuchen have a lot more success, and we have seen them have more success through the run game and just trick plays, small ball as opposed to a big ball and a risky ball. You got to get the points you can, so you got to power and get the yards you can as well.
Nobody noticed the football was still just laying in the end zone, but they got rid of that now. So drive will start. It's a direct snap to A.J. Perillo. He's got blockers ahead, runs through the pile, and pushes out near the 25-yard line. And a very, very late flag. As some chirping right near the sideline. That's Matt Sadovsky from Metuchen, and Sean Simoes. Might have been a late push or some extracurriculars right there. Could be offsetting penalties here. Let's see what the decision is as the officials huddle. Game's gotten a little chippy here in the second half.
Yeah, when the intensity goes up, you'll tend to see a lot more flags, and you'll see a lot more of this because they all want to win, and it's a close game. So.
And it's a couple of teams who are frustrated. They want that win. And still looks like some Johnson players are having a conversation with the officials. Now one official's going over to the far side to talk with Coach Anthony Del Cane. And it's going to be offsetting penalties, looks like, on Sadovsky and Samos. Didn't exactly catch what happened, but there was some pushing that led towards the Metuchen sideline, and there was a lot of words back and forth. But you can't let things like that get in your way, especially if you're Metuchen and you're trying to come back in this game.
Yeah, and they've been doing a good job so far this drive with just getting the chipping away the yards I was talking about. So we'll see what they could do to bounce back after a flag. They're getting relieved that they were offsetting.
So after the stoppage, we'll get going again. That was a direct snap to Perillo that went for about 3-4 yards.
Don't be surprised if you see a read option taken by Steven. I would not be surprised. That tends to be their go-to play on yards like this, and it's been working.
Perillo. And it is an option for Metuchen. Ike channeling his inner Tony Romo, sort of calling that one, but Metuchen will get a couple of yards there past the 25, and it's going to be a third and manageable here for the Dogs.
I like that play for them because it helps to get those yardage, and now it sets up an easier third down. It's not an easy one, but it's easier than it could have been. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go to the air here. Perillo is always a good option. We'll see maybe a screen pass. It's going to be an interesting approach here on third down.
So third down, you got 4 receivers. Near side, it's Holloway and Ahmed. Larson and O'Leary to the left. Perillo comes across. Metuchen spins forwards near the first down. Big collision there at about the 32. And we'll see, it looks like right near the first down marker. And it will be a Bulldog first down.
Once again, moving those chains with the same exact play. It was just such a nice one, really good awareness to find that gap and get for the first down. Just barely made it past the stick, and he's going to get the first down to move those chains.
And it's great that they're converting on these third downs, Ike, but like the clock is running, and we're down to 6 minutes, 10 seconds left in the third quarter. You got to have a bit of urgency here to try to get down the field a little quicker. Converting on these third downs are great, but you got to do it pretty quickly. They're going to try deep, and Metuchen is picked off. Back the other way, that's Jason Greenbush all the way down, dragged down right near the pylon. And Metuchen is picked off for the third time this season, and Johnson now with a chance to potentially take a 20-point lead as they'll have first and goal coming up.
That was amazing awareness. He was kind of scoping out the area, and I won't say it was a great interception, but it went right to his hands, and he got all the way down to the 1 on a pass by Metuchen that went straight to his hands. Must have been a miscommunication there between the quarterback and his wide receiver.
I just don't think there was enough on that throw right there for Metuchen. I mean, he tried to get that one going, and he was trying to throw pretty deep right there, and kind of a bit of a soft toss, and great eyes right there by Jason Greenbush to jump in front and pick that ball off. And now Johnson, with 5:49 remaining in the third quarter, have a chance to extend their already sizable 13-point lead.
If I'm them, I go to the run here, but we'll see what they could do here from the 1-yard line. Maybe they'll play some quick slants or something like that. I really like the way they've been working their offense so far today.
Brandon Brown, their leading rusher from last week in the backfield, a fake, the move, nearly a Statue of Liberty type play right there from Hernandez as he gets down right near the goal line, but it's going to be short, and the second down and goal is coming up.
That was great awareness there. The defensive line scoped down as soon as he rolled to the outside, and they shut him down just on the line. They're going to need a whole bunch more of stops there. It's not going to be easy to do. They're just inches away from that touchdown.
So second down, goal to go, ball around the 2. Both these teams looking for their first wins of the season and have tough tests next week. Johnson facing South River, Metuchen traveling to Roselle. Hernandez tries to push the pile forwards, Metuchen trying to push back, and that's not going to be enough. Gets about half the yardage, I think down to the 1. He got some forward progress there, but third down will be coming up.
That looked a lot like it was a good play by Luke Cadilla to get behind him and push him backwards. It was a very nice play, and they're going to stop him once again. 3rd and goal. Not an easy thing to do to stop him once again here, but they're going to need one to help this game remain within reach.
So 3rd down and goal. Metuchen's defense, they've been really good so far. They forced 2 field goals. Of course, there's a great kicker in Mikowski on the other side, but they've been able to hold the fort in these situations, and they're going to again. The fake, the toss, and they push him further and further back near the 5-yard line. It was a little trick play to Matthew Froden, and nothing comes of it. And it'll be again the field goal unit coming out here for Johnson, likely with 4th down coming up. Let's see exactly what they call. It looks like Mikowski's on the field. And guess what? Even if they score this field goal, as unlikely it might seem, Metuchen will still be within 2 possessions.
That's right.
As the Bulldogs still leaving themselves an opportunity here. And their defense again forces a field goal.
Aiden Holloway with a great tackle there, scoping out and finally wraps him up. A great defensive stop.
Mikowski money there, 3 of 3 on field goals today. That one a little shorter than the 43-yarder earlier. But now Arthur L. Johnson holds a 16-0 lead with 3 minutes and 32 seconds remaining here in quarter number 3. And for both these defenses, it's an improved game. Metuchen allowed 332 yards of offense against Keyport. Defensively, Johnson allowed 264 rush yards and 5 rushing touchdowns against Brewerly. It's pretty evenly matched despite the score on the board right now. It's just a couple of mistakes from Metuchen that's really costing them so far. And both these defenses, I think, are getting some confidence back after really getting dominated week 1.
Yeah, that's right. And if you think about it, if Metuchen had scored some of the touchdowns when they brought the ball all the way down to the red zone, this is a whole new ball game. They could even be winning if they converted on many of their plays. I really love the way the offense is going. I know I've said that, but I just really love the confidence that they've had, and Steven's ability to make the throws, although the last one wasn't a great understanding of that, but he's been doing very good and leading the offense, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to some big plays again. I mean, I wouldn't be too scared to throw the ball back once again if I'm the quarterback.
So Mikowski will kick it away, 3 for 3 on touchbacks so far. This game was 3-0 with 11 seconds left in the second quarter, and it's been all Arthur L. Johnson ever since. Mikowski ready to kick it away. Perillo and Holloway are deep. And again, Atlin's back into the end zone for another touchback. Mikowski is really impressing today with the kicking game. Johnson has not had a lot of offensive threats so far, and of course their offense has stalled in the red zone, resulting in 3 field goals. But Mikowski is really impressing so far. But now Metuchen, Mielishton coming back out here, hoping to regroup. That was a pretty bad interception. 2 turnovers from the quarterback today. How can he get some momentum back going his way?
Well, I think that his safe spot right now has been the option, the run. With time draining, it might not be the best decision, but to be able to get that confidence and those yards back, I think you got to go to the option a few more times and then start to incorporate the passing game. You have Holloway, it's really good on the outside. You have Perillo, of course, in there as well. This is you could do it much. You could do a lot here. Oh, wow.
A run there for Mielishton. He gets thrown down back near the line of scrimmage. Nothing much going there. And there's an injury down on the far side for an injured Crusader. I think that's Matthew John Louis, the junior, number 52. And he is down on the far side, and the training staff heads over here with 3:12 remaining in the third quarter. So for Metuchen, of course, they have the road game next against Roselle, but then a pair of home games after that against some traditional rivals. They play South River on the 25th, and then a rare night game here in the Brainy Borough on October 2nd against Spotswood. And you know the atmosphere is going to be electric here when they play under the lights for the first time here in Metuchen.
Absolutely. I think that's definitely the game to circle on your calendar. That's going to be one to definitely go to. It's going to be super fun under the lights against a solid team against Spotswood, and I think that's going to be a heck of an experience.
So some notable games from yesterday. Of course, most teams in the Big Central play on Fridays. Metuchen, due to not having lights, is one of the teams that plays their home games on Saturday. Some notables across the Big Central. North Brunswick took out Old Bridge yesterday, 34-27. Woodbridge all over Sayreville, 42-28. Somerville with a dominating performance, 47-zip over Carteret. South Brunswick also posted a shutout against Piscataway, 27-0. Metuchen's regular rival, the last team they've beaten, the Denellen Destroyers, got destroyed by Manville, 48-6. Edison High School fell to Colonia, 38-7. Scotch Plains Fanwood fell to JFK, 41-20. A 3-0 stalemate between Linden and Montgomery. Monroe put up 69 points as they defeated J.P. Stevens 69-6. And East Brunswick beat New Brunswick 35-14. And the team that Metuchen plays next week, Roselle, got shut out by St. Thomas Aquinas 43-0. Well, John Louis is up and walks back to the sidelines. That's a good sign with some help, but good to see because he looked to be in a lot of discomfort there. And now Metuchen gets back into it here on a second down, 9 yards to go, ball at the 21-yard line. Final 3 minutes of play here in the third. Perillo once again comes in motion here from left to right, takes the jet sweep, gets some blockers, gets some space, cuts across, works past the first down marker, down around the 33-yard line. A.J. Perillo, explosive yet again on that jet sweep, and it results in another Dogs first down.
It's worked all game, and they're going to go back to it when they need it. They're going to give that to Perillo. He's going to get on the outside, and of course, he gets 9 yards and just about a first down. So the Dogs starting off really well, just like last drive, but hopefully Mialishin can throw a little bit better on his next pass or the next play.
No pass attempts yet here on this drive. They do have 4 receivers out. Again, it's Perillo in motion, and this time Mialishin keeps it himself. He'll get dragged down, flipped down around the 35-yard line. Strong tackle right there from the junior Stephen McCaffrey. So second down and 7 coming up at the 34. 2 minutes, 12 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
It'll be interesting to see what they do here on a play like this. 2nd and 7. I wouldn't be, surprised if they go back to the passing game, but the running game has worked so far, so maybe they'll send Perillo in motion.
They're going to drop back to pass. Mialishin's going to throw one. It's caught by Perillo at midfield. A catch by A.J. Perillo. Ike Bush is 2 for 2 and calling exactly what play is going to be used. And it's a big time Metuchen first down. Mialishin with his first really deep completion today. Definitely gets himself some confidence back after that really bad interception and even worse fumble at the end of the first half. But Metuchen is driving with the ball at the 50, kind of in the middle of our screen right now with the way our cameras are set up, as Mialishin keeps it himself and is going to get tied up back at the 48.
Nicholas Pingor with the tackle, and a nice one too. And they'll lose just a yard. But they are on the opposite side of the field now for the 3rd time this game. We'll see what they can do to hopefully for them get their first points.
So 2nd and 11, under a minute remaining here in the third quarter. Metuchen trying to get on the board. They scored 20 points last week, haven't gotten on the board just yet. Everybody's checking on the play there. Looks to be a little confusion there amongst the quarterback and the receivers. Mialishin takes it, runs right, gets a block, flag is down, and he's going to work his way to about the 46-yard line. And we'll see what the call is. Metuchen has had a lot of penalties against them so far in this game.
I'm really loving that linebacker work by the defense. Every single play, if you'll notice on the read option when he'll roll out, there is a linebacker that shuts down the outside, so Metuchen has to be forced to run inside into all of the chaos and is brought down just a few yards later. That wasn't happening earlier on in the game when he was getting bunches of yards through the ground. So they've definitely changed something in the locker room. It's looking really good by this defense, and they stop him down at the 46-yard line.
So penalty waved off, 3rd down, handoff, it's Perillo. Perillo cuts forward, spins away, down near the 40. Clock will expire here for the 3rd quarter, and Metuchen will have likely a big 4th down and inches coming up at the end of the 3rd. 16-0 your score. Metuchen trying to mount a comeback here in their home opener here against the Crusaders, trailing by 16. This is Eddie Kalegi alongside Ike Bush here on the Bulldog Report. Ike, final 12 minutes. It's going to be a tough comeback for Metuchen. What do you want to see from them here during these final 12-minute stretch?
Yeah, they certainly have a lot of ground to make up, but that's not to say they won't be able to do that. The way this offense is clicking right now, you might be able to expect anything to happen. I'm really liking the flow, but this defense is pretty strong. They're going to want some stops, and of course, they need both 2-point conversions after scoring 2 touchdowns and shutting down the opposite team, Johnson's offense. So it's going to be a tough task, but that's not to say they won't be able to do it with 12 minutes to go in the game.
So a little recap of the action from today's game. Mikowski had a field goal for Arthur L. Johnson to make it a 3-0 score in the 1st quarter. Metuchen had a chance in the 2nd quarter. They had a touchdown that was then called back because of a hold, and they ended up getting a turnover on downs on that drive. Right at the end of the 2nd quarter, Metuchen was driving. They were inside the 10 on a 4th down play. Stephen Metuchen fumbled the ball. Vincent Pisano picked it up. 90-yard fumble recovery, returned for a touchdown. The scoop and score gave the Crusaders a double-digit lead entering the break. Mikowski tacked on a pair of field goals here in the 3rd quarter. And Metuchen now going right to left as we start the 4th quarter of play with a big 4th down coming up with the ball right at the 40-yard line. It'll be 4th and about 2. With Metuchen trailing by 16 and desperately needing this conversion. Metuchen under center, pushes forwards, and that's going to be close.
I really like that play there by Tommy Jurasek. After initially getting beat on the hard push, he ends up recovering and blocking and helping the rush to get the 1st down that they needed.
Still 1st down and 10 coming up, ball at the 38-yard line, so Metuchen converts again. And that's one thing that's been really strong for this team. On 3rd and 4th down, the Bulldogs have been electric today.
That's right, and especially on 3rd and short, you've seen a lot of runs, especially out of the quarterback. You know, Steven has been able to rush with that quick little QB rush, or the read option. It's looked good either way.
4 receivers. Metuchen rolls out right, has time, tries the deep ball. It's back, it's caught, hold in, Aiden Holloway, touchdown Bulldogs. Metuchen rains one out there, a deep ball for a touchdown, and the Metuchen Bulldogs are on the board. This time it'll stand. Metuchen with the pass touchdown, his 2nd passing score of the year, and the Metuchen Bulldogs are on the board.
Aiden Holloway's 3rd pass attempt towards him, and this one is a touchdown. It says the best way to start your day off in terms of catches is with a touchdown, and a deep one too, and one they definitely needed with 11:11 to go. This will be interesting now with a 2-point conversion. You might see a run by Steven, but you don't really know with a power back like Antaporta in the backfield. Definitely not going to be easy to stop, but with this defense, you never know.
So 16-6 now. A reminder, this is a 2-point conversion, so if Metuchen converts, it'll be a 1-possession game. Let's see what they draw up here. Holloway is in the left corner. Let's see if they look for him again. Metuchen, end around. Perillo has space, goes to the corner, and is just tripped up just short. What an excellent open field tackle by Dylan Parada, and it will stay a 2-possession game.
I think that's one of the best options you could have done, but unfortunately it didn't work out for them. It was a really nice play on the outside. He did stiff arm and get by one defender, but a great open field tackle to bring him down and keep this a 2-possession game.
So 16-6 here, 11-11 remaining here in the fourth quarter. But Metuchen finally gets on the board today after some heartbreak on multiple possessions. But let's talk a little more about that throw there for Metuchen. To be able to range out to the right, have space, and find Aiden Holloway. That was not an easy play, and Holloway brought it in.
Oh yeah, for sure. And to find him so deep with the amount of pressure he had, he was able to hit the receiver down the line for a huge touchdown. And unfortunately for them, they weren't able to make up the ground with the 2-point conversion. But they are looking really good, and a really nice read by Metuchen to find him and get the touchdown. We'll see what they can do on the defensive side of the ball. It's a 16-6 game with 11-11 to go on the final stages.
So 16-6, it's a 10-point game right now. And Metuchen's defense looked poised on that last drive, but as much as it's been nice to hold Arthur L. Johnson on these long drives to field goals, you can ill afford a long drive from the Crusaders or a field goal at this point. Metuchen has to try to get this ball back. We'll see if they can try to force a turnover here as the kick will come. And it's away. Patrick Miller sends that one. Not the best kick. It's fielded by a big man at the 30-yard line. He gets past the 40 and gets taken down hard at the 46 by Aiden Holloway, who's now doing things on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, that was not an easy tackle to make. Obviously, a great return, but Holloway to be able to bring him down while getting trucked by a big man, it was a really nice open field tackle, because if he got past Holloway with no issue, he could have seen a lot of green, including the end zone.
That was Matthew John Louis on the return, and now Arthur L. Johnson starts their drive. And at this point, Ike, they have to focus and just try to run the clock.
Right. And we've seen them have success in that area a lot. Earlier, they burned 11 minutes off of the clock, which is exactly what they can do right now and finish this game. Of course, Metuchen has the timeouts that they may use, but it's going to be an easy run game for them, and we're going to see a lot of that. Let's see if Metuchen's defense can step up here.
So the ball is going to be placed here at the 35-yard line, and that's where the Crusaders will start this drive right at the beginning of the fourth quarter, leading by 10.
Expect the run here. That was a really nice wrap-up, as there is a flag on the field.
Yeah, not much there, and we'll see what the call is. Flag came out pretty quickly. Don't know if there was a hold there on the initial carry out of that wishbone formation. And it's going to be against the Crusaders.
So that's the least thing they need right now, to push them back even more, and it's going to set up, I think, 1st and 15, depending on the call.
Let's see, it was a personal foul, so this couldn't mark them significantly back.
Right.
And that will bring them back to the 25.
Bring the ball back to the 25-yard line.
So it'll be first down and 20 yards to go.
It'll be 1st and 20.
Samoz and Parado, the two receivers. 10 minutes, 58 seconds to go here on a beautiful day in the Brady Borough. Metuchen's first of 4 home football games this season. Handoff up the middle. Brandon Brown gets away and then gets smashed down. Metuchen was the first one there. And some assistance came from a couple other defenders. And that'll be a second down coming up.
Time is flowing. May I remind you, just under 11 minutes to go. But Metuchen's defense looking stout right now, stopping on back-to-back plays, only one counting. But it's going to be 2nd and long, 2nd and 15 from the 30-yard line.
Stop the clock, you guys down.
And there's an injury on the field. That is number 3, Braden Downey. So the clock stopped right now at 10:26. third injury we've seen for Arthur L. Johnson today. Metuchen lucky, knock on wood, they haven't had any yet. Of course, this team has been decimated by injuries these past few seasons, but these guys are staying tough, and when you follow along with the team, you can see on Twitter with Coach Jensen, it's really a 12-month effort that they're constantly in the weight room putting in work and getting prepared for the season, and they want to demonstrate it out there on the field.
Exactly, preparing for the worst of times always, and flowing with injuries. Of course, Aiden Ahmed on the side after being injured. He's obviously one of the core wide receivers, and that's certainly another part to this offense, and they're doing fine without him. But of course, it's not always fine when you're losing, and you want a core guy like Aiden in your wide receiver set.
Aiden Ahmed has missed a lot of time over these past few years. Got some playing time as early as his sophomore year back in 2019. So 2nd down and 15, and that might be offsides against Metuchen, as it looked like about 4 players all jumped at once. And that is something they also couldn't afford, as now it'll be a reasonable 2nd and 10. So after the flag that made it a 1st and 20 sort of neutralizes itself here, as the Dogs will be posed with a 2nd and 10 for the Crusaders.
Hard snap count by there to force the defense offsides. Really good call there. I think that was all intentional to give them some leniency, and now they still have 2nd and 10. We'll see what they do here.
Handoff right up the middle, and the ball popped out. Did Metuchen fall on it?
It looks like Metuchen's on the bottom, and they will have the ball.
It's Bulldog ball. A crucial turnover. We said it. They had to force one right there. Looked like Rocco Dagan was one of the first people in there. Patrick Miller as well. And it was a scrum for the ball. They get it. A crucial turnover. A big-time mistake right there. Arthur L. Johnson capitalized on Metuchen's big mistake at the end of the first half, and now Metuchen looking to do the same right here.
It's been less than a minute since they've scored, and that's the worst possible outcome for them. Now Metuchen's got the ball back with the best possible outcome. After not having to use any timeouts, they have the ball on the opposite side of the field with a hot offense. We'll see what they do here on 1st down on the opposite side of the field.
10:22 to go. 1st down. It's a run. It's Perillo bodying them past the 30 down to about the 27.
And though there is a struggling kicking team, Metuchen can feel free to hit a field goal if they need, because a field goal and a touchdown will tie this ball game up. But, of course, they might go hard for the touchdown. I would as well.
So 2nd down right now, and looks like the chain gang is going to be coming out here. And they're going to actually say 1st down. So it's a gain of 10. So Metuchen gets the ruling, gets the 1st down, as we're under 10 minutes of game time remaining. Perillo in motion again, fakes it. It's Metuchen, and he's going to get a couple yards. Flag on the field. Something I've noticed, Metuchen was really the catalyst in the running game in the first half. It's kind of shifted to Perillo. They've started to figure out Metuchen's moves a little bit here.
I think that's definitely the case, and they've been given that jet sweep kind of play to Perillo. We haven't seen a huge workload out of Antaporta because it seems that D-line is extremely strong. But when you get outside, it's a little bit weaker. So Perillo, who's a little bit quicker, is able to get to the outside, and it's not easily stopped for this defense.
This ball at the 28 here. And now they're going to move them a little more.
Time is stopped at 9:24.
It's like a little bit of a mathematical error there, but the ball's now at the 30-yard line. 1st and 15. Metuchen looking for the call from the sideline. He's got John Balesta in the backfield with him. 4 receivers. Perillo in motion. Metuchen fakes the jet sweep, throws it the other way to Balesta, who makes the nice catch. Not going to be much, but a good grab nonetheless.
Pass complete to John Balesta. Short game on the play.
And you talked about it earlier, Ike. This is really a running back kind of commission. No more Jake Lipinski. And John Ballesta is one of those guys, along with Antaporta, Matthew Flood, and others, and Sadovsky, that will find their way in the backfield sometimes.
Yeah, and they're swapping him out a lot. So almost every other play, you'll see a new running back in the backfield, and it's because it depends on the type of defense the other team is running as of late. So you'll see if you want, or the offensive plays. So if you want to see like a screen pass, maybe he had a faster guy like John Ballesta, but if you want to power for the run, you maybe give it to Antaporta, who's got a big truck.
So 4 receivers here. Clock continues to tick. 8 minutes, 12 seconds to go. Mealishin rolls out right. Throws one. It's Perillo. It's too strong. Perillo gets hit hard by Jason Hernandez there, but no need for pass interference there. And it'll be 3rd down and 15 to go. And a big 3rd down coming here from Metuchen as this drive has stalled out a little bit. Bulldogs got the ball back on the fumble by Brandon Brown.
I want to highlight the constant pressure we've seen from Nicholas Pingor, the outside linebacker. It's been a lot on the outside, and when Mealishin wants to roll out and maybe get some yards, he's going to have to be forced to throw the ball maybe out of bounds or maybe just get a few yards on the run. You won't see much because of that outside linebacker. Keep an eye on 54, Pingor. He's doing very well at shutting down any play that Mealishin wants for the offense.
This time he does have time. He's going to fire over the middle, and too strong for Holloway. So back-to-back incompletions here for Stephen Mealishin, and that'll set up a 4th and 15 from the 30-yard line. Bulldogs will try to go for this one and see if they can miraculously pull off something here on 4th and long.
Gotta wonder what they're doing here on 4th and 15. Not going to be an easy play, but they're going to have to incorporate some of their luck in here and run their best play and hopefully get those 15 yards for them.
They've gone to the air back-to-back plays. A little too deep for a trick run play, but you never know with this sort of conspicuous Metuchen offense. You never know what they're going to run, and we've seen it all game. I talked about it at the beginning. They're known for their trickery. They're known for their surprises, and we'll see what they can pull off here.
That's right. Coach Jensen and the rest of the coaches seem to have a really good understanding of what works, and they tend to be able to adjust very well at what works and what doesn't. So, I mean, honestly, the run has worked super well. Maybe go to some trick jet sweep to your best guy. You never really know what to do. But, I mean, these coaches have a good understanding as to what will work. And they'll maybe run that play on this play here, 4th and 15.
Perillo has been automatic, it seems like, on those jet sweeps to get 10 yards and get the 1st down. It's a little further than that. They need 15 right here, but talk about adjustments. Timeout called there as Metuchen adjusts to this defensive set the Crusaders just brought out. But this is a big one. 8 minutes and 1 second to go. Bulldogs got a touchdown, got on the board, a find from Mealishin to Aiden Holloway to make it a 16-6 game, and Metuchen trying to cut it to a single possession deficit. They forced their first turnover, a fumble from Brandon Brown, but this drive has not gone very far, and Metuchen has also received a penalty on this drive. But 4th down and 15, Crusaders back to the line, Bulldogs break the huddle.
So whatever is in the mind of these coaches right now has the potential to break this open. You really never know what will happen here on 4th and 15. 4th and long, they need some big yardage, but don't doubt them getting this.
So here we go, 4th down, 15 to go. Mealishin takes the snap, rolls out to the right. That's a signature play. He's going to throw right near the marker. It's Aiden Holloway, but he might have been short. Another one that's a game of inches here. That was really, really close. But I think it's going to be Johnson ball. And that it is. Great find by Mealishin. He had some time there. The offensive line blocked great, but Perillo was covered deep. He couldn't go for the home run ball. Dumped it off to Holloway, and Holloway just couldn't go that much further and got forced out of bounds. So.
It seemed like they had their full back blocking there to help out on the outside, and it was really good. Gave him plenty of time. He made a really quick strike, Mealishin, that is, to get just close to the first down, but not quite all they needed to get that first down and move the chains. Now they're back on the defensive side of the ball with only 2 timeouts.
7 minutes, 54 seconds to go. 16-6 is your score. So the Crusaders looking to run the clock. They did a great job of that in the first half when they had a 7-minute drive leading to a field goal. They got to kind of channel that right here. Had just a turnover their last time on the field. So we'll see what happens.
That might have just come up a little bit short, but he gets solid yardage on it. Interesting play there on the run up the middle.
So the clock begins to run here. 7:36 to go. Second down here. Metuchen hoping for a stop, but of course, at this point, it might all be futile with just 7 minutes to go and trailing by 2 possessions. That's why that big fumble right at the end of the second quarter really was a game changer.
It really was, and if they would have scored, that would have been a lot. It would have been a whole new ball game, but unfortunately, it was a game of inches. They were unable to just get there.
Speaking of a game of inches, Brown pushing forwards. The ball comes out, but I think it was blown dead.
Ball was ruled down on the play.
Metuchen's defense is signaling that they ripped it out before,
In girls soccer
but
action,
nothing else going on right now.
Metuchen 1, Spotswood nothing.
Girls soccer team, by the way, just picked up a 1-0 victory over Spotswood, and Cassidy Connors scored their 1 goal. Great to see other fall sports teams all getting into action and performing well so far this season, Ike.
Yeah, that's for sure. Unfortunately, the varsity soccer team just coming up short in a really tight 1-0 final to fail against their game and against South Plainfield. But it's been an interesting battle between all of these fall sports teams, and of course, Metuchen always competitive in every one of their sports. And this one is a nail biter as well. We'll see what they could do.
Again, trying to push the pile. Did he get to the marker? I don't think so. Just kept on trucking there, and it actually did. It's actually going to be a first down. I was really close, but they're going to rule it a first down. And Arthur L. Johnson gets a break here as the clock continues to tick. About to approach 6 minutes remaining in this one.
Now under 6 minutes to go, and it's gonna take a lot for Metuchen to battle back now.
End around counter on the run, getting space near midfield, and tracked down there is Matthew Froden, the junior. Breaks free for a big-time run right there.
That was an incredible play call selection there, because he faked the run that everyone was expecting up the middle just to gather a few yards, and they went to a little bit more of a risky run around the outside, which got him a whole bunch of yards as they were pretty much run committing up the middle, expecting a run over the middle, and it went to the outside. So they got a whole bunch of yards there for the first down and more.
Just over 5 minutes of action remaining, and obviously Arthur L. Johnson in no rush right now, just want to hang on to the ball and hang on to this lead as they seek their first win of the season. Metuchen in danger of dropping their 14th consecutive game, dating back to 2019. This one, a handoff, a run, and out near the sideline, down around the 45, so about 5-6 yards there on the scamper.
Seems they got him out of bounds, so that will stop the clock.
And that's kind of something you've got to do if you're Metuchen. Of course, you want the stop, but you've also got to try to trap them in the corners to try to get the clock stopped.
Exactly.
Second down and 6, ball at the 45. It's going to be second and 4.
You might even see them run to field goal range, and with such a great kicker, Mikowski could hit that long field goal as long as they got into within reason range. You got to expect around maybe past the 30, a little bit around the 30-yard line. That's the hardest field goal you're going to make, but Mikowski, don't doubt it.
It's Brown pushing the pile forwards to a first down, it looks like right near the 40. And that's something that Johnson Ike has done so well today. Even after the initial contact, they've been able to push forwards for an extra few yards.
Yeah, he's definitely good at trucking his way for the first. And we've seen that a few times. They've definitely utilized the running game today, whether it's with the quarterback or whether it's with the running back or with a little sweep. We haven't seen the sweep as much, but we have definitely seen a lot of dumps, a little running back, halfback, ISOs, or something like that. And he's definitely made something of what has been nothing a lot.
So we're in the final 5 minutes of action here. 16-6 is your score. Metuchen got a touchdown. Aiden Holloway caught one, but Bulldogs still down by 10, and Johnson has the ball as they use the timeout right here. So Ike, of course, I'm not a student this year, but school is reopened. You had their first 2 days. What's it like being back in the building, sort of normal for the first time in 18 months?
It's amazing. I almost forgot what it was like, and for the first time, traffic and getting to class late never felt so good because you love to see people back, and definitely it's definitely somewhat normal, and it's definitely great to get back to somewhat normalcy in times like these, and after a few years. It's certainly refreshing.
Yeah, it's for me, like, I'm going to Rutgers right now. It's a big jump to go from all these classes on Zoom to being in a hall with like 200 kids in a class. It's so great to be back to normal and to have a great fall sports season here with this home opener as well for football. Johnson has it here. It's a handoff. It's Brandon Brown. Metuchen had that one figured out and thrown down hard right there by Luke Cadilla, the senior defensive lineman.
He's a big guy, and he's been a huge part of this D-line the entire day. Getting past the offensive line, which is not an easy thing to do with a big O-line like this, but he's been able to shut down a lot of the runs, Cadilla, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing from him today.
So second down here, 10 yards to go, ball at the 40-yard line, 4 minutes, 16 seconds remaining here from M-Town. Johnson continues to work the clock. Hernandez under center. Parado out wide right. It's a keeper for Hernandez, fools everyone, and now will be barreled way back by Holloway. Metuchen has been hitting hard on the defensive side. Even if they lose this game, it has been a step in the right direction for a defense that allowed 37 points last week.
Yeah, and obviously we've seen major bright spots in their defense and offense. It's looked really good. Just the biggest thing is the kicker. Mikowski's been as good as anybody out there today, and he's hit shots that high schoolers typically can't hit. So he's gotten the points that they need. But the defense has been a lot better than what we saw last week.
Third down and 4, and again Metuchen likely jumped off sides. Another delayed snap. Looked like it was Tommy Jurczyk who was in motion. Then the senior gets across, and that's going to be another first down.
And like I said before, now they're in field goal range. They have the chance to, with such little time, to hit this field goal, kind of as another pile instead of just needing a touchdown and a field goal. Metuchen will now need 2 touchdowns if a field goal is converted. And from this range, you got to expect a field goal once it gets down to 4th down.
And the mistakes have been so crucial for Metuchen. Between the penalties, they've had more penalties than Arthur L. Johnson. They have the 2 big turnovers, the fumble and the pick, which resulted in 10 Crusader points, something they really got to clean up heading into next week.
Yeah, they've definitely cleaned up a lot since last week, but there's so much more to do. A team definitely improving, but it's not going to come easy next week. They got some hard opponents coming up in the future.
Run up the middle, Pyle gets close to the 25, but that's it. As we approach 2.5 minutes to go here today from Metuchen.
Red-handed 6 from the 26.
So 2nd down, 6 yards to go. Ball at the 26-yard line. Johnson has had the ball since the 7-minute mark here of this quarter. Metuchen couldn't convert on 4th and 15. Got 14 of the 15 yards, but just not enough. And the clock stops at 2:09. No confusion there on the Arthur L. Johnson sideline.
And now we're flowing to the last 2 minutes of this game. And Metuchen certainly looks deflated now, coming to the realization that it's going to be almost impossible to come back now, but you never really know.
Hernandez, they're trying to rip it free from him, but he does a great job hanging onto the ball. Like, Jason Hernandez has not been flashy today, but he's gotten the job done and might guide the Johnson team to the win.
Yeah, that's right. We've seen him run a lot, and it's been a key factor of this offense. Obviously not a quarterback first. He was a running back last year, but after the quarterback kind of graduated, now he's the senior quarterback. And we've seen that run incorporated big time into this scheme. But yeah, he's been far from flashy, but he's gotten the job done, as you said, getting those few yards, making those pushes, maybe getting to that first down just about, and that's what you need. I mean, you don't need to necessarily be flashy as long as you're getting your job done, and if he comes out with a W, you'll definitely claim he got the job done.
Yeah, and he's a senior, so this is his 1 year starting at quarterback. He's been on the team for 4 years, but Joseph Greenbush was their quarterback for the past 3 seasons, and he graduated back in June. As they'll come out of the timeout, it's going to be a 3rd down and 6 here with 1 minute and 36 seconds to go. This game was flying through the first half, but because of varying stoppages, it's really slowed down here through the 4th quarter. But we enter the final 90 seconds with Metuchen still trailing by 10.
3rd and 6.
Hernandez, handoff, Brown. Actually, it's the other side. Even I got fooled, and that's going to be a 1st down.
And that is just about the icing on the cake. A huge 1st down, and now their chances are almost shot. This is looking like a lot like the offense they were playing in the 1st quarter of this game. Just kind of running down, taking their leisurely time and draining some clock, and they've definitely got the job done so far here, even in the 4th quarter.
Faked the handoff there to Brandon Brown. It was taken by Matthew Froden, who's had a couple of flashy plays, number 12. So we enter the final minute 12, and Arthur L. Johnson looks to be getting into victory formation here. So they'll nail it down, and the clock continues to tick. The Crusaders went 1-3 last year, about to pick up their 1st win of this season and prepare for a home game on Friday as they host South River for their home opener. And to end up 1-1 after this 2-game trip, gotta be happy about that. As for Metuchen, they'll drop the home opener, 14th consecutive loss dating back to October 2019. They're 0-2. They go to Roselle on Friday, who got absolutely shellacked by St. Thomas Aquinas last night. So Metuchen with another opportunity coming as the last kneel down is done. Jason Hernandez and the Crusaders celebrate as they head to the sidelines. Metuchen can only look and wonder what would have happened if those mistakes didn't happen. The crucial fumble and scoop and score at the end of the first half gave the Crusaders a double-digit lead. They never looked back, and as time runs out, 16-6 your final score as Johnson defeats Metuchen. Ike, final impressions from today's game.
It really was closer than even the scoreboard says. That was only 2 possessions game on the scoreboard. This could have easily been flipped. I liked both performances, both on offense and defense by Metuchen and Johnson. I just really liked the way that Johnson ran the ball and took control of the game when they were on offense. They had more control of this game, but when Metuchen had the ball and when they did have control, unfortunately they did not get the points they needed. Both drives that looked best resulted in turnovers, which resulted in touchdowns. So really it just came down to, bigger play by Crusaders, ended up getting the points they needed to win this game. And I really liked both teams, but Crusaders just came out on top because they got the chances they needed to make those plays.
Well, Metuchen next game against Roselle. We're glad you were able to join us here for this home opening game. Great to see all the fans back despite the loss, and the Bulldogs will look to get back at it next week on the road. But until next time, a thank you to Mr. Cathcart, our athletic director, and Ben Stilaski behind the scenes. For Ike Bush, I'm Eddie Kalegi signing off today on the Bulldog Report. Once again, your final score, Arthur L. Johnson 16, Metuchen 6. We hope you have a great rest of your weekend.